is lost. In Austin, I stalled, pause. My eyes crawl to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, focus reflected. Often mirrors and pit clip, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving and grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise. We know our purpose. In paradise, in paradise. We know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you conceive.
Boom. Yes, it is. The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. I'm your host, Matt Clark, and it is Tuesday, day of Game 2 for the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies. And then, of course, there's multiple Game 2s tonight, the Lakers, Timberwolves, and the Bucks and the Pacers. So there's multiple games tonight. And then, of course, our Thunder, we will be playing tonight at 6:30, the early game, which is good, compared to the 9:30 game tonight against the Grizzlies. So we'll see. Like I said, the first game was just a game one. I don't know if the Thunder can come back and beat them by 50 again. I don't think they'll be close because none of the games have been close. We beat them 4 times this year by 75 points, and then when you add in the fifth game, it's 126 points. So in 5 games. So I don't really want to count that. But do I believe we'll beat them in double digits again? Yes, I do. Do I think the game will be closer? Yes, I do. But Ja does not play well against us. SGA does not play well against them. So I think it's going to be that. But, I'm more interested in the other games tonight. You've got the 6 o'clock game, which is the Milwaukee Bucks against the Pacers. And I want to see Dame. Dame is going to be playing tonight. So that's going to be interesting because the fireworks between him and Halliburton, which started last year when Halliburton then beat them and then he went like this for Dame time, that Dame hasn't let that go. And what Halliburton is going to find out what Russell found out. Now, we'll see if he finds out what Russell Westbrook found out when he went off on Dame. As I said a few years ago, I'm at the Thunder game. And I think, where was I sitting? I forget. I was sitting right behind the bench. I know that. And we were sitting there watching, and you could see Dame at the free throw line, and Russell said something to him, and he turned and was like, what the fuck? Excuse me. What the F did you just say to me? And then Dame went off against us that night. He had only had probably 8 or 10 points at that point. I think he went off for 30 from that point on, and he just killed us. And that was part of the reason why he went to bye-bye when Portland beat us in 18, 19, or whatever it was, and he waved bye-bye to us. And that was the reason why, is because Russell had started that. So now Halliburton is starting the same thing up with Dame, and I'm not sure if Dame is somebody that you really want to go after, okay? Possibly, but I just don't see it. It's going to be really ugly between those two tonight, which I'm looking forward to seeing the getting home, and then after we do the After the Storm show tonight, being able to watch, go back and look at the highlights on YouTube, and maybe even watch the game. I know it's going to be an NBA TV, but I'm not going to be able to watch it. So that's going to be fun to watch, and then of course the Lakers and the Timberwolves after that, which is going to be in a whole different category. So when I look at the Thunder tonight, let's look at the games tonight. Because I have all 3 games that are going to be played tonight, and the stats for each game. So or the money line, however you want to look at it. The Bucks and the Pacers. The Pacers are 4.5 point favorites. Over/under is 227.5. Like I said, that's going to be a good game. I think the Pacers are better than the Bucks, but the Bucks by themselves with just Giannis cannot beat the Pacers. The Pacers are too talented, too deep with Siakam and Halliburton and Turner, Miles Turner, and then of course they just have a deeper bench than the Bucks do. So that's part of it that I look at, and we'll see how that plays out. But that being said, I'm looking forward to tonight. Looking forward to them playing each other and seeing what's going to happen. I'm just sorry. My friend Jennifer has broken out in hives, so she's just sending me a text message, uh, letting me know that she's not doing well right now. Let me see. I'm telling. I'm live. I'm live right now, girl. Text you after. Anyway, so that being said, I just don't think the Bucks can beat the Pacers. I think the Pacers are going to take a 2-0 lead in that series, even though I'm really, really interested to see how that pans out between Dame and Halliburton. And then, of course, our game, like I said, we're 14.5 point favorites. I think it's going to be around that. I'm guessing 20 points, 15 points. I think that's going to be pretty easy to figure out. 228.5 is the over under, and then of course tonight the Timberwolves and the Lakers. When you look at that, I do believe the Lakers are going to bounce back. You know, people trying to blame it on 8 days off, and the Grizzlies had just played and all that. I mean, I'm not going for all that nonsense. I'm really truly not going for all that since they had 8 days off. The Timberwolves, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I really don't. I'm sorry. I just believe that the Timberwolves wanted the Lakers. Uh, they know that the Lakers beat them, but like I said, this is how I look at it. And I said this yesterday on the show, is that the teams that should have won game one but lost, both won game two. The Lakers got hit in the mouth, and you can blame it on time off, you can blame it on whatever. LeBron was not aggressive. It reminds me of when we played Miami in the NBA Finals, the Thunder. And LeBron and Dwayne Wade weren't aggressive at all. And the commander and I were at the game, and we're like, oh, man, okay, we're going to win this game. And we noticed that in the first, and the commander, he can verify this for you. I think it was in the first, I want to say by the first quarter, maybe the middle of the second quarter or something like that. We said, oh, we're going to win this game. And everybody's looking at us like, what are you talking about? And you could just see the Heat were selling for jump shots. They weren't aggressive going to the basket at all. And then in the second game, we're like, oh no, we're in trouble. And because the Heat were aggressive, Dwayne Wade was aggressive attacking, and LeBron was in attack mode. So I think the same thing is going to be tonight for the Lakers. I think they're going to be in attack mode. But I thought that the Timberwolves' defensive scheme, I guess that's the best way to call it, against Lucas, like, okay, we're going to guard you, and if you score, great, but we're not going to let you facilitate to get everybody else involved. And that worked. And then, because I was listening to somebody talking about how the Lakers did the opposite of Ant-Man. And I just think that Ant-Man and Luka are two totally different types of players. Ant-Man is more aggressive, and Luka is more methodical. He's more all around offensively, and Ant is just pure athleticism that's developing his skill, whereas Luka is just pure skill. That's the difference between the two. So I look for the Lakers. I think they should win this game. I don't think 5.5 points is a lot of points, but that's the odds makers saying we believe in the Lakers and we believe in what they're going to do. I just don't see it, but we shall see what's going to happen with that. When I look at the Timberwolves, if the Timberwolves go up 2-0, this series is over. They'll beat the Lakers in 5. And so we'll see how that works. And then in our game, I think we're going to handle our business. I believe the Pacers are going to handle their business. So I think all three home teams will win tonight, unlike last night and what happened with that. But I do believe the Pacers will beat the Bucks. I know we should beat the the Grizzlies, and then I believe that the Lakers will bounce back against the Timberwolves. But that being said, in that particular game, I told you it would go 6 games or maybe 7. And that's why I wanted those two to go at it. So because I believe that the Lakers need to be physically beat up, and LeBron was disengaged the first game. He'll be fully engaged. I can promise you that. But once again, Austin Reeves and the rest of the guys got to step up. And Austin Reeves, he's not used to guys that long, even though they played playoff basketball is different than season basketball. It's a lot more physical, and so he's going to have, I believe the one thing he needs to do is get stronger. And then I think he can handle the bumps and the bruises and all the things that come that are associated with um, postseason basketball. And then, of course, last night the Pistons beat the Knicks, and I was talking about this yesterday on the show. Is that the Pistons are young, but they should have won Game 1. And Cade Cunningham was, he didn't like the fact that, even me and everybody was saying that, oh man, Anunoby just shut him down, and he was this, he was that. Guys like that who are emerging superstars, who are superstars, they didn't like that. And Cade just came out and just really made a showing, and even pointing at Carmelo. By the way, congratulations, Carmelo. I think I've already said this, but congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction. Future to be inducted. He's going to be inducted in this Hall of Fame. But they were and the Knicks came back, but this time, unlike the 21-0 run the other night, the Pistons finished them off at the end. And Schroeder hit a big three-point shot, but that's what Schroeder did. He did that with us when he was here in Oklahoma City. He did that when he was in Atlanta. He did that with the Lakers. That's what he does. He knocks down big shots down the stretch. That's what Schroeder has always done, and that's what he is. And so, but anyway, then now they go to Detroit up 2-1. And the Knicks got to figure it out. But once again, Tom Thibodeau, dude, you can't. You got to play more than 5-6 guys. And that's just not what he does. And you can't play guys 42, 43 minutes. And that's what I was saying. The thing is with the Nuggets, and we'll talk about that game in a minute. The same thing with the Lakers. You've got to play 8, 9 deep. You can't play. You can play them 38, 37 to 40 minutes. But you can't play them 42, 43 minutes every night, every other night. You can't do it. Their bodies they just can't do it after 82 games. You can't. Or 75 or 80 games, however many they played. You just can't do it. So, but that's what Thibodeau does. He just beats his players down. And by the time, that's what happened to him last year. By the time the finals came, they were so beat up that they couldn't get past the Pacers. They were literally beat up. I mean, literally beat up. And it's just because their body just wore down, and that's just who he is. That's the way he coaches. And, as long as he's doing that, I don't see them going very far. Now, the Clippers and the Nuggets, I said that I thought the Clippers would come back and beat the Nuggets. The Clippers should have beat the Nuggets the first time, but they fell apart. And like I said, I always call them the Nets, Jets, Clippers. That's what they are. They find a way to lose a game. They find a way to throw the ball away. They find a way to do something to take bad shots, whatever. And James Harden is doing good, but, it's like he had missed a huge shot last night, went to the basket, shooting a left-hand floater, and didn't even draw iron. But that's when, again, it's under the pressure, it's in clutch. I'm not a fan of his in the clutch. I'm just not. Now, if I'm playing against him, 100% I'm a fan. Please keep him in the game, kind of like Westbrook, even though Westbrook did do some good things down at the end, which is what he does. But that being said, you notice that they pulled him out of the game. And then Michael Porter got hurt, and they had to put him back in. I'm talking about Russell. But the Clippers took care of business like I said they would. I thought they'd come back and beat them. And both of these teams that lost Game 1. Clippers on the road should have beat the Nuggets the other night, but it was the Nuggets this time having 20 turnovers. And what's so funny is, everybody talking, oh, Jokic had a triple-double. He had 7 turnovers. 7 turnovers. And I'm sorry, you can go, well, and that's what the TV does. They gloss over stuff. Yes, he had a triple-double, but he had 7 turnovers, including 2 horrible shots that he took. One, when the shot clock was clearly more than he turned around and threw it up there. And then you had Aaron Gordon wide open in the corner, and he did a fadeaway. Just catch, you got the rebound, kick it to Aaron Gordon, let him shoot in the corner. But no, he turned around and did a fadeaway, whatever. Pass the ball. But once again, he's the greatest. He fell apart, and the announcers didn't recognize, or not recognize, they did not give you a full account of what happened. Now, on the shows this morning, on The Herd and on First Take, they did that. They beat him up, because you should. Bro, you had a triple-double, but you had 2 terrible, terrible plays down the stretch. 2 terrible things you did. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay to compliment somebody when they do good, but you got to let them know when you do bad too, and that's what I do. I don't really care if you're doing great. I'm gonna give you all the love. But when you f up, I'm gonna bring that out too. because you got to. You can't just give somebody all the love. You gotta be able to say, okay, yeah, you did great, but boom, here you go too. And those are the things that I think you have to do. And if you don't do them, you're giving a disjustice to the league and to sports in general. Give people love, and then when they do wrong, you beat them up. Because you have to be fair. You can't just go, oh, and gloss over stuff. You're not going to do that. It's like me with the Thunder. I'm going to give our coach love when he does stuff right. And when he does stuff bad, I'm going to call him out. When SGA plays great, I'm going to talk to him and say great things about him. When he plays bad, I'm not going to say bad things about him, but I'm going to call him out. J-Dub, Chet, everybody. That's what you do. You don't gloss over stuff when they don't do stuff right. You talk about it. That's what you do. And that's what I do. I don't sit there and go, okay, well, I don't care how many games we did this, we did that. That's fine. But on the flip side of that, when you screw up, I'm going to tell you. When you do good, I'm going to praise you. But I'm going to hold you accountable both sides, like you should hold me accountable. And that's how I look at it. I don't think that everybody should get this, automatic pass. The hell with that. I'm not doing that at all. So tonight, 6:00, game one, which is the Bucks and the Pacers on NBA TV. Now, of course, we can watch that. If you do have NBA TV, you can watch that. And then, of course, the second game on TNT, which will be our game at 6:30, and then the 9 o'clock game. Thank God we don't have the 9 o'clock game. And that would be the Lakers and the T-Wolves. And like I said, I think all three home teams will win tonight. The only team that I think really has a chance to lose is maybe the Lakers with Minnesota going up 2-0. And now, I think how funny would that be if the Lakers lose in 5? What is Shannon? AFC, KFC, UFC, whatever it is, Lakers in 5. Yeah, it looks like it may be the Wolves in 5. I don't have any analogies to go with Wolves, but, we'll see how that works out with them. So it's going to be interesting tonight, like I said. So now to the Thunder, which is why we care about. Let's go to us. And here are my keys for the game for the Thunder tonight, okay? Because I think that that these are important. Number one, we have to hit them in the mouth early because I think if you hit them in the mouth early, by that I mean you play good defense, you go out, SGA, the coach playing the correct lineups, SGA getting going early and often, and don't get caught up in shooting threes. So hit them in the mouth early. What I'm basically saying there is this. Get in their face defensively. Don't give them any easy shots. Make them earn everything. On the other side of that, be aggressive, taking it to the basket. By not selling for threes, getting baskets, start scoring. Because once we start scoring and they feel that us coming downhill at them, I think that will make them give up early, just like they did the other day, and say, okay, well, let's just try to go home and get a W. So to me, that's the kind of how I look at it. Hit them in the mouth early. Be aggressive defensively. Do what you got to do offensively. Knock down shots. Coach playing the correct lineups, which means sub people out. Just because we won by 50 doesn't give you the right to go back to what we did in the season. Sub J-Dub out at the 5-minute mark. Have Kaysen, Caruso, SGA, Joe, and Chet or iHeart or whatever in the game. Let's go with that group, and let's roll. Then start the second quarter. You're going to have you're going to have J-Dub, Kaysen, Caruso, Wiggins, and either iHeart or Chet. I think iHeart because I believe Chet and SGA play better, and I believe iHeart and J-Dub play better together. That's just what I've observed. That's just my thought process. So anyway, you put those together, and then my thing is this. Let's insert A.J. Mitchell a little bit more in that second quarter. Now, you don't have to because there's really not that much defensive pressure that's going to be on them because the best defensive player, Wells, is out. Second best defensive player, he guards SGA. And when SGA's not on the floor, he's really not in there. So then, J-Dub gives J-Dub the ability to run wild because he doesn't have a solid defender on him doing the same thing that they would do against SGA. Now, Houston does that. They follow SGA and they man him up for 94 feet. Nobody does that with J-Dub because he's not quite on that level. They don't respect him that. Now, he's earning their respect for them to start looking at him that way, but not yet. So anyway, coach playing the correct lineups. SGA, let's get going often and early. What your shooting stats and what you did before, dude, you got to start going. Start getting there and get into the groove. Start making shots, and you did kind of at the end of the game. But quit 1 for 7 for three. Why are you shooting 7 threes? Why are you shooting 7 threes? Go in, get you to the basket, get some free throws, then come back out. But once again, he's just determined he's going to be a three-point shooter. And what did I say last year? I want him to do what? Once he becomes a three-point shooter, the NBA is going to be in trouble. And then for our team, last but not least, is don't get caught up shooting threes. And by that, what I mean is don't come out here, oh, we beat them by 51, and you can just start launching threes. That's not how we beat them. We beat them taking the ball to the basket. We beat them turning the ball over. We beat them in transition. We beat them attacking the basket and playing downhill, and then hitting threes when they were open. That's how we beat them. But if you get caught up just coming down, which is what we did when the bench players came in, that's what they started doing. If you do that, you're going to give them life. And I can promise you, if you give them life and let them think that they can stick with us, you're going to be in trouble. The game is going to be a lot harder than what it should be. So what I'm saying is those four things I said, let's make this game easy. Let's beat them by 25 or so. Let's let it be easy and hit them in the mouth. Let them know, hey, it's going to be a lot more of what it was Sunday. It's just a continuation, bro. And let's go ahead and beat them down because I believe that they're going to go, okay, if we're down 30, okay, we might as well throw in the towel like they did in the second quarter last game. Hit them in the mouth. Let's go. Roll with it. And if you do that, this team will fold and they'll say, screw it, let's go home and see if we can make some different changes for Thursday. To me, that's the easy advantage. That's the easy way to do it for us to be able to get to be able to win this game and to be able to win the series, which should, like I said, should be 4-0, but I think it's going to be the gentleman's sweep. I do believe they're going to get one at home. I do believe that. But, if we go 4-0, that's just another thing. I mean, to me, when you're a historically great defensive team, by only losing 12.9 was the difference in games, which is the best ever. What did those all teams do? Not lose more than 3 or 4 games in the playoffs. They beat the brakes off everybody. What they did in the season, they carried that defensive pressure over to the playoffs. Celtics lost 3 games last year. Okay, Thunder can do the thing. If you go ahead and sweep them, boom, come back. You're gonna have the winner of the Nuggets and the Clippers. That's gonna be a physical game. Now, do I believe that we're gonna beat the Clippers in 7 games? No, I don't think it should go 7, 5, 6 games. That's what I think. I believe it's probably going to be 6, but it could be 5 games easily. If you handle your business, you play the correct lineups, you don't come out just shooting a bunch of threes. SGA is aggressive early, which relaxes our team and lets our team come play. If you do that, then it's going to be a lot easier for us to do what we need to do to capture this next ring. That's just me. Okay? That's the way I look at it. And I think that can be done pretty easily if the Thunder stay focused and stay where they are doing the things they're doing. That's how it should turn out. But we shall see what's going to happen with that. But like I said, I believe we're still going to win by 15 to 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. 50. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Am I more comfortable with 25 or 30? Yes. But I believe it's going to be a more close game if we don't do the things that I suggested. If we hit them in the mouth early and let them know, hey, just a continuation of Sunday, bro. Here we go. Ain't nothing changed. We ain't giving you no easy shots. You have to retain everything. You don't have to get back in transition. We're not giving you transition baskets because we lead the league and not giving up transitional baskets, either by us turning the ball over with a steal or us taking a long shot, which equal long rebounds, which equal transitional points, which equal flow of the game. As I've said many times, we're not giving you that either. We're not going to let you get into a flow. So those are the things that you have to do. And it all starts in the second and fourth quarters, especially in the second quarter. We came out and went on a 23-2 run. The score at the end of the first quarter was 32-20. When SGA came back in the game, it was 63-30. And like I said, they didn't put SGA back in the game until 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Why? Because once again, in that timeout at the 6-minute mark, Dagnall does not put him in the game when it's easily to stick him in the game. He waits till they run the time. The time is off. The play starts. Then he brings him off the bench. He does it every time. It's going to get us effing beat. That's why we lost to the Dallas Mavericks. That's why we lost to Golden State Warriors. They know what he does, and they use that against him because he's trying to be a minutes manager. It's going to hurt us if he does that. But anyway, against the lowly Grizzlies, it doesn't matter, and we did what we needed to do to spank them. So, but when we go back and let's look at what the scoring is, which because this is kind of funny, so we're going to go ahead and look at it because this is, uh, I mean, it's kind of interesting when you look at it. Here is the season. I did the season shooting percentage where we ended the season, which is the thing on the left, and then on the right is the updated version of what's happening thus far. Okay, during the playoffs. This is kind of interesting to see how this works. Okay, to me, it's pretty funny. You got Wiggins leading our team in scoring at 21, J-Dub at 20, Chet at 15, SGA at 15. Excuse me, Chet at 19, SGA at 15, Hardenstein at 14, Dort at 12. Now, Wiggins is the only one not in that starting lineup, but that's what happened. Uh, uh, yes, he did. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen with SJ today because that 15 points, he needs to go for about. I don't know if he's going to play because remember he did not play the fourth quarter the other night, which is his 16th game this year. He did not play the fourth quarter. How is he not the MVP? How is he not an overwhelming favorite? 15 games during the regular season, he did not play the fourth quarter. Yes, I mean it's just crazy. I just it's just crazy to me to think how when you look at our team and you look at the fact of what we're doing defensively, uh, I'm just sitting here going, SJ has to. I mean, he played terrible, but once again, shooting those threes. When he goes in, he shoots a bunch of threes, and he's not making them. His scoring average goes down. And I think this is only the second time this whole year that he did not. I think this is what is it? He had what was it? He did 72 in a row. He had 20 points, and this is his lowest output of the year, and he just was off. And then by sitting him so long, when you're sitting for 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes in the second quarter, what's that called? Dagnall, he is the SGA cooler. That's who he is. He doesn't like the fact that SGA is 1-on-1. He can score, and then he does. To me, he does not. Our organization is more of a team. Let's do a team. Let's pass the ball. Let's do all this. Well, that's fine. But when you got a guy who can go get you buckets, then he can pass the ball and get everybody else involved, and all they got to do is be playmakers. I mean, make plays. They don't have to become playmakers because every time we have guys who are trying to be playmakers, we get beat. Whether that's J-Dub, whether that's Chet, whether that's iHeart, whether that's Kaysen, whether that's Caruso, whether that's all of them. We have one playmaker, but that's not how the Thunder like it. And once again, the SGA cooler did that to him, and that's what he does. So then when you look, so here's the J. Will 9 points. K. Rich 6 points, Joe 6 points, Mitchell 5 points, Kaysen 2 points, Caruso no points. We're not going to win with Caruso at 0, Kaysen at 2, Joe at 6, and we're not going to win with that. And Wiggins scoring 20. We're not going to win with those rates. And Wiggins scoring 20, we're not going to win because that means if he's scoring 20, that means Chet is down. So, you got to figure that SJ is going to get 10 of those points, which puts Wiggins at about 10, 11 points a game, which is where he should be. Dort should be at about 10 points a game. You look at our season stats. That's where everybody should be. Okay? That's where Wiggins should be 10, 11, 12. Hartenstein, 11, 12. Dort, 10. Joe, 10. I mean, that's where we should be for us to be successful. Those are where the rates should be, and unlike the ones on the right. But when you have a 50-point blowout, these numbers are going to be a little screwed. So this first whole playoffs is going to be skewed this first time around. So anyway, let's go ahead and thank our sponsors. If you have needs for engineering, surveying, and planning, hit our guys up over at SRB. They'd love to take care of you. And if you have a water treatment plant in your city or county, they will make sure that everything runs smoothly. Because as we always say, who the hell does not like clean drinking water? Oak Grove Trucking, if you have needs for dirt, rock, or sand to be moved, hit our guys up over there. Jose Fierro, he'll take care of you and make sure that you have clean drinking. That you have any dirt, rock, or sand to be moved, whether you have a construction site. And then also, Like one of my good friends, he has a construction company. He goes in there demolishing houses and demolishing a bunch of things. Hey, have Jose come out, fill up his dump truck, and he will go dump it for you. YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. Equal housing lender, a member of the FDIC, proud sponsor for us to go out and support women, minority, and black owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area. You can pre qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com, or you can go into one of the 5 locations, the main bank at 401M, 66 steps from historic downtown Yukon, Oklahoma. YNB East, which is off the Parkway and 66 or 39th Expressway. YNB Mustang, 218 North Mustang Road. YNB Parkway, which is off Garth Brooks and I-40, just south of I-40, right in front of the hospital right there. You cannot miss it. It's just right there. And then, of course, YNB Peoples, located in Bethany on 23rd between Rockwell and MacArthur. And then, of course, the House of Creed, handcrafted since 1760. Man, it's some good smelling stuff. It really, really is. And if you're a guy and you have a significant other, go in and see my girl Beth at the Dillards at Penn Square Mall in the men's part and get you some cologne. And they've got a bunch of different kinds. And then also have her hook you up with whoever her counterpart in the women's department so that she can hook you up with whatever you need for her, because they've got some great smelling perfume and they got a new selection. I can't wait till tomorrow or Thursday. I'm going to be there Thursday. So we can kind of get a good smell for the new cologne. Cannot wait. New cologne. I cannot wait for it. But anyway, like I said, man, that Aventus perfume, oh man, that's some good smelling stuff. It really, truly is. If you want to get some, promise you. And like they always said, Matt, remember, pick the best for your best. And I do. And I believe in that. Picking my best for my best. 100%. So do that. So now, one of the big things today is the GM, Nico, from the Mavericks. Bro, why are you still talking about Luka? Why don't you talk about what you've got planned for the future? Why don't you talk about you trying to get Kevin Durant? Why don't you try to talk about who you're going to get in the draft? Why don't you talk about what you're going to do to try to get y'all ready to win a chip? Why don't you do that? I saw him say that he did not know to the extent of what Luka meant to Dallas. Are you crazy? How are you the GM of the Mavericks and you don't know how much Luka meant to the team? What are you talking about? That is insane, bro. That is absolutely insane that you don't know what that means. That's crazy. And I just don't really, I don't understand that at all. At all. I really don't. I don't get it. But that being said, we'll see what's going to happen with your team. Now, I understand that you're taking the heat because I see people all mad at him. Do you believe that the general manager of the team is going to make a trade of one of the top 5 26-year-olds in the league without the owner saying it's okay? Without President Mark Cuban and them saying it's okay? You're trying to tell me that he made a move without asking the ownership if they were okay with it. That's a bunch of BS. That's like Sam Presti. There's no way Sam Presti is going to trade SGA without the ownership being okay with it. Now, the Kevin Durant thing was a completely different deal because Kevin Durant said, y'all want Russell Westbrook, you can have it. And that was a FU to the Thunder, which is why he did the Thunder the way he did. And I can promise you they're not going to do that with SGA. But the difference is SGA is not trying to leave the Thunder. Maybe he is. Maybe they're forcing him that because clearly they believe J-Dub is the face of their team. You know, like, for example, how is SGA the MVP of the league and you have any sort of advertising that don't have him on the cover? Obviously, my Facebook deal, Oklahoma City Thunder have J-Dub on the deal front and center. J-Dub, 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 J-Dub. That's who they want to be the face. And I can promise you, clearly Sam Presti did not learn from his mistake with Russell Westbrook. He didn't. I don't give a shit how great of a GM he supposedly is, or excuse me, I'm not supposedly. He is. You're going to make the same mistake you did again. You have 2 generational type players. Kevin Durant and SGA. And you gave up Kevin Durant, pissed Kevin Durant, ran him off because you chose Russell Westbrook as the guy. Now you're doing the same thing with J-Dub because of your coach, who doesn't. He's not going to develop SGA. How you going to develop SGA? He's beyond what you're trying to do. You ain't on the level of that. Now, J-Dub, you brought up 100%. Chet, you've gotten better. Casey, you've gotten better. But you ain't doing that with SGA. You don't even know how to coach him. No NBA coach, like I said, is going to do what he does. You don't take the MVP, 3-time first-team All-NBA in a row, doing something that only Michael Jordan has done more than once. He's going to be the second player to do some of these things. He's one of 6 or 7 players to do stuff that he's done in the history of the game. And you think that J-Dub is better than him, has more upside. No way J-Dub is going to crack any of that stuff. No way. He's not going to average 30, shoot 50% from the field with steals and blocks. He's not that. That's not happening. The guys are too good for him to be able to score when he has the full attention of the opposing team. It's not going to happen. When he has the best defensive player on him instead of SGA, he's not going to be able to do the things that he does because he doesn't have the skill set to do it. It's not happening. But if he fits what the coach wants to do, because the Thunder believe in team, they don't want to be a one-trick pony like they were when you had KD and you had Russell and you had Harden. You got rid of Harden. Then you got rid of the coach, Scotty Brooks. And you brought in Billy Donovan, which, by the way, Billy Donovan's Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him. But as the NBA coach, no, not so much. And I say this to this day. Had Billy Donovan went from Chicago to the Thunder, I believe Kevin Durant would have not have left because he would have been a different coach and he would not have done that. He would not have made the same errors and mistakes that he made as a first-time coach. You took a first-time college coach, brought him to the NBA, gave him this overwhelming wealth of talent, and he totally didn't do anything with it. Now, him as a coach today, he would be able to go far. The Thunder would go. I believe if Billy Donovan was the coach today, coming from Chicago to the Thunder, he'd be a different coach. And we probably would have had a chance to win the chip. Now, once again, I don't know if we could have beat Cleveland. Okay, I don't know if we could have beat them, but we'll see. We'd have had a good chance at it. So to me, that's where you look at the Thunder, and that's what you look at it. And so now back to Nico. It's the same type of thing. You don't make decisions without the ownership saying it's okay. I can promise you the owners gave the okay to get rid of Luka because they were pissed off. Because J. Kidd was really the one that was mad about it. Because of Luka's attitude, he doesn't play defense, he don't want to do this, he don't want to do that. It's frustrating to J. Kidd. I can't do this. Now he's got a group of people he can coach. I promise you it had a lot to do with that. And he went to Nico, and then Nico went to the ownership, and the ownership said, okay, whatever you guys think, go ahead and do it. That's what happened. But for him to take all the heat, yeah, you're the general manager. Yeah, you're the face of the team. Yes, you're going to take the heat. Just like Sam Presti, you're going to take the heat. You didn't take the heat for the Kevin Durant deal because the way Kevin left, the way I looked at it was Kevin Durant said, F you to the Thunder, F you to Preston, F you to the Thunder. That's what Kevin Durant did. It's exactly what he did. He's like, okay, if you want him as your guy, you can have Russell. That's exactly what Kevin Durant did. And then he went to the best team and became the best player on the best team. And somebody was trying to argue, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Kevin Durant was the best. He went to the best team, was the Warriors, and he was the best player on the best team. He won back-to-back MVPs on the best team. Back-to-back MVPs of the playoffs on the best team. He was the best player on the best team. And I'd say this all day long. Kevin Durant and SJ are both just want to hoop. They're hoopers. They're just players. They're individually gifted as far as one-on-one and unstoppable players. They just are. You have to go, okay, this is what they do. How do we develop players around what they do to make us better? That's what you do. Now, what the Thunder have done is shored up their defense by adding Caruso and Hartenstein, which is fantastic, which is what you got to do. But then on the flip side of that, what have they not done? They have not encouraged SGA. They don't look at him. They don't promote him at all. And the only reason why Russell Westbrook won the MVP is because Sam Presti and the Thunder ownership decided to promote him because Kevin Durant left and they wanted to lift the Thunder up. That's what happened. And there's not one person that says, man, Russell was the best player that year and he won it. No one person says that. Not one person. Kevin Durant won it? Yes. Nobody argued that. This year, if SGA wins, which he should, him and Jokic, yeah, there was a great deal, but yeah, SGA deserved it. But Russell won it because he did something nobody else has done. That's why he won it. Because if not, he did it for 2 more years, and there was no accolades for that because nobody believes he was the best player. And on top of that, KD is going to be a top 10 player of all time. Russell Westbrook is not. J-Dub is not. SGA, if he continues on the way he's going, he's going to be a top 25 player of all time. Maybe top 20. But there's a lot of players in there, and I'm not going to forget those guys that came before him. But, if he makes this year, which he's going to, he comes back next year and he's first team All-NBA. That's 4 first-team All-NBAs. Luka has 5, and they traded him. But like again, Luka doesn't do what SGA does. SGA guards, he defends, and he scores. And he builds his teammates up because he knows that him by himself we're not going to win with just him scoring 30, 40 points. But if I'm getting 30 and then I've got Dort to go along with me, I've got J-Dub to go along with me, I've got Isaiah Joe to go along with me, I've got Chet to go along with me, I've got Casey to go along with me, I've got Ihart to go along with me, I've got Wiggins to go along with me. I think I said Dort. If I didn't, Dort to go along with me. We're going to be hard to beat. And I've said this before. If Isaiah Joe and Lou Dort are knocking down threes, we're going to be impossible to beat. Because SGA is doing, that means SGA is doing his thing and those two guys are relaxed. Dort's not trying to make plays. Isaiah Joe is not dribbling the ball around trying to do it. They're not doing all that. They're just catching and shooting. Catching and shooting. Wide open. Catching and shooting. And if they do that, the Thunder are going to be hard to beat. It's not hard. But my thing with Dagnall, as I said right before the start of the playoffs, if he stays a minutes manager, and at that 6-minute mark or 6:57 or whatever it is of the second and fourth quarters, if he doesn't put SGA in right there, he's going to burn timeouts. That's going to cost him in the second quarter and the fourth quarter late in the games. It's also going to give teams that 1.5-minute run or 2-minute run that they need to make a run at us in the second quarter, which is why we lost to Dallas 3 times, which is why we lost to Golden State. Those are teams that beat us multiple times. Why? Because they took advantage of his coaching philosophy. That's why we got beat. So you guys get mad and you can love him all you want to, and that's cool, and I like him too. But I'm telling you what his weaknesses are, and if he doesn't change those weaknesses, we are going to get beat and not win a chip. And he can come back next year and you can be the number 1 seed for 3rd year in a row. If he doesn't change those things, we're not going to win and we're going to underachieve. Then all of a sudden, you're going to be in year 4, and then what? Then what? Then you got to pay SGA $400 million. You've got Topic coming along. You're going to have to pay him. I mean, J-Dub, if he makes the All-NBA, what are you going to do with him? You're going to be in salary cap hell. Then what about Casey? You're going to have to pay Kaysen. What then? Because remember, you're going to have to pay SGA, J-Dub, Chet, Kaysen, you already paid Ihart. Caruso, not Caruso, but Topic. Those are guys you got to pay. You've got you'll have Ihart, that'll be his last year of his contract. And the only beautiful thing is that the salary cap goes up. But these are issues, guys. You can get mad, and I'm not a hater and all that nonsense. And when you say that, you're an idiot, not a hater. All I'm saying is, here are the facts. Here are the problems. Here are the things that are going on. This is what you have to change. And if you don't, the Thunder are in trouble. And these are facts. These are not something I'm making up. These are not something that I'm just trying to be a hater. These are things that bother me. And I'm trying to let you know what bothers me. And here are the hard facts of what can get in the way of us winning the chip. Because to me, is at that point you're going to sub iHeart or you sub uh, Dort or you sub Russo, whomever in at that 6:47 mark or whatever, and you wait till the ball comes in, then you sub SGA in because you're going to sub in for J-Dub. Why would you not sub him in right there? Sit J-Dub for 2 or 3 minutes, bring him back in. But you wait, and then 80% of the time you have to call timeout because there's no stoppage in play. So SGA sat over there for 2 minutes, so he didn't get into the 4-minute mark. And against a team that you are evenly matched with, a la the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Warriors. You do that against them, it's going to cost you. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, guys, this is what's happening. Grow up. Pay attention. Don't stick your head in the sand and go, oh, well, we've won 68 games. So? That was during the regular season. I ain't got nothing to do with this. Like I said, we won by 50. So? That's just one game. That don't mean nothing. Remember the Lakers and the Memorial Day Massacre against the Celtics? They came out, beat the Celtics 4 out of 5 times and won the chip after getting blown out. Don't mean nothing. It's just one game. And you go, okay, you got that one, move on. And even if we win again tonight, so what? All we did is hold serve. That's all we did. You won at home. Okay. Now when it's a series, you got to go and win one of 2 games at Memphis. Then all of a sudden you can say something. But right now all you're doing is winning at home. You're holding serve. But what has happened with the Knicks? You didn't hold home court. What happened with the Nuggets? You didn't hold home court. What happened with the Lakers? You didn't have hold home court. Now the Timberwolves have home court advantage. The Clippers have home court advantage. And the Detroit Pistons have home court advantage. Now you've got to go win one of those 2 games that they have at their spot because you can't afford to come back home down 3-1. Or the Thunder need to sweep them there in Memphis. 4-0, boom, let's go be done. And that'll be what, Saturday? So you play Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you're done. Now I'd like to play one more game, to me, just to get into next week, just to kind of get AJ Mitchell some more reps. That's kind of what I want. I mean, I want 5 games, but because I wouldn't mind going 5 games against them, 5 games against the next opponent, 5 games against the next opponent, or sweep this opponent, sweep the next, or 5 games against the next opponent, 6 games against the next opponent. That's 3. And if you're the greatest team ever, you can't afford to win more than 2, so you need to sweep. Now, the game is different than it was in 69 or 70, 71. It's different than it was in 71, 72. It's a little different than it was in 95, 96. Ain't that much different 16, 17 and 23, 24, 23, 24. Not that much difference between those. Celtics lost 3 games last year. I'm just doing the warning signs of what is the things that the Thunder have to worry about right now. That's where I'm at. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, look, guys, this is how I look at it. Here are the red flag or the yellow flags that I see that you guys are just like, oh, it's green, let's go. No, the light is yellow. Pay attention. There's some warning signs out there just like it was last year. I said the same stuff I said last year, and I was right. I was a hater last year, but I was right. You was wrong. You're not a hater, but you was wrong, and I was right, even though I'm a hater. Not a hater. Excuse me. I'm just a guy who's looking at the game and saying, look, here are the issues that we have to address. Here are the potholes that are sitting before us in the street. That's all. Swerve. Here comes a pothole. Swerve. Here's a problem. Swerve. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm looking at. So, anyway, that is my report for this day. Tomorrow we're going to go in depth with the draft tomorrow, and on Thursday we're going to talk. Tomorrow is going to be strictly about the Thunder, what happened in the NBA playoffs, and then the second half we're going to talk about the upcoming NBA draft, the last 15 minutes of tomorrow, and then probably the last 15 minutes on Thursday. We're going to preview the Thunder game, talk about the games tomorrow night, and then talk about the draft and who we like in football. Like I said, I like football. I love basketball. I like football. So we're going to talk about that. And we may be getting somebody online to give their opinion on the draft. So we'll see how that's going to work out if we can get that done. So that being said, hey, everybody, go to the game tonight, have fun, enjoy it. Remember, we